Our next step in our journey to complete our bicycle is going to be to add the sprockets and cogs for the chain. So we're going to add one for the back, one for the front, and if I show you my example of the bicycle that I've done previously, you see here I have multiple sprockets. I've got 3 on the front and 2 on the back. So if you're enthusiastic and this goes well for you and you want to add a couple of extras, you certainly can. I would love to see it, but I'm going to simply add the big one on the front and the big one on the back. That's all I'm asking of you. All right, so we're going to go back to our drawing. Now I need my frame on my screen so I can pinpoint the 2 starting circles. So I'm going to zoom in on the back circle here, and I'm going to choose my circle tool. And I'm going to center this right about the middle of the metal bars here. So it might be better to turn my object snap off so I don't have it in the way. And I'm going to draw my circle, not very big, we'll say about that size. And again, we're not measuring anything, we're just looking here and going with what we think is right. So my second circle, I'm going to again just kind of eyeball my center point. And I want to make this circle just a little bit bigger than the other one. Okay, I'm happy with those. So we're going to start on the back circle. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to take my line tool, turn my object snap back on, and I'm going to go from the center of my circle. There we go. And I want to come straight up. And if your line's not traveling straight at 90 degrees, turn on your ortho tool down here. That will lock it into 90 degrees for you. So now that I have my center point at the top center of the circle, I'm going to draw another circle centered on that intersection. So this circle is going to be a little bit smaller, and this is going to be the circle that cuts out the shape on each of the sprockets. So if you look at the sprockets, let me zoom in on this, it gets a little bit grainy, but you can see it. You can see there's circular grooves cut out of the metal plate that actually is the sprocket. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to trim, before I trim actually, I need to copy this circle because it's really important to keep a copy of this size. Once we create our sprockets, let me show you how to do that again. So I'm going to choose copy, click on the circle, hit return, grab it by anywhere, and then just move it over and set it with a click on the side, and return ends that copy. This is going to be used to complete the sprocket on the front. So I need to make sure these are the exact same size because when we draw the chain is going to have to fit both the front and the back sprocket exactly the same. So before I do my polar array and run this all the way around, I'm going to trim the top half of it away. So zoom in to make sure I get all the pieces. So a little piece there, a little piece there, a little piece there. And again, yours may not look exactly like mine because you're drawing different sizes. So yours may be beyond that, it may be short of that. It's totally up to you where you draw it. Now I want to array this all the way around. So I go back to my draw menu, I choose my array, I select my object, I hit return, and now I tell it I want to use a polar array. Specify the center of your array, which is the center of my circle. It's already set at 360 degrees because I've already been using that, but if you need to change that, you can click on the fill angle and retype 360 degrees. And items, how many do I want? Now, I really don't know because I'm just drawing this without doing any measurements, so I'm going to start with 30 and take a guess. Oh, way too many. Okay, I'll go back to items, and I'll jump down to 20 and take a look at that. Okay, much better, but I don't want this to come to a really specific point. So I'm going to change my items and make it one less than that. So we'll try 19, and that's what I want. I want that little tiny space in between. Okay, so I'm happy with that, so I'm going to exit the array. And now what I need to do is go to my trim tool, enter, and I'm going to trim away these lines between all of the circles. And that's going to leave me with what I want for my shape. Okay, I'll quickly zip through that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and zoom in here on this so I can finish these off. And that's going to leave me my first sprocket completed. So again, if you want to do another one, you can on the back. You certainly don't have to. And there we go. Oh, I think I missed a little spot right there. I want to be making sure I get everything. Okay, so there's my first sprocket at the back. So if you want to do another one inside that, you can follow that exact same technique. Make sure you use a circle that is exactly the same size. That's why we saved this one right here. So I'm going to zip up to the front now. I'm going to move, click, return, click and drag. Let's move this over so I can zoom in on the whole page here and get that in the right space. Right there will do. And I'm going to repeat that process. This time, the numbers are going to be a bit different because I have a bigger circle to start with, but it should work out just the same. So I'm going to draw a line from my center point. So my O-snap is turned on, and that line will go straight up. So now I want to move this circle. So back to modify, choose my move option, click on the circle, hit return, and I want to grab that circle by its center. So you'll see its center is now highlighted because my O-snap is turned on. I'm going to turn my ortho off so it allows me to move anywhere I want. And I'm going to snap it to that intersection right there. And I'm going to go through the exact same process with this circle now on the bigger sprocket at the front. So that means the first step is to trim away the top of the circle. Oh, hang on, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. I'm not going to trim just yet. I'm going to make another copy of that just in case I want to use it again to do another sprocket. So I'm just going to set it aside again. Enter finishes that command. Okay, so now I can go ahead and trim the top edge. 1, 2. Enter finishes that command. I want to draw a polar array. Select my object. There we go. Hit return. Array type, polar. Center point of your array, the center of your circle. And angle, I already know is 360 because I see it going all the way around, so I don't need to change that. But if you do need to change it, click on your fill angle. And items. All right, I'm guessing again. I'm going to go with 30 again and see what happens. Too many, they're overlapping. So I don't need to go as low as 20, but I will reduce it to maybe 26 and see how that looks. Okay, I'd like that spacing to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to zoom out and take a look at them both at the same time here if I can. So that one is that size. That's pretty good. I'm going to go one more smaller. So I'm going to go 25 and see how that looks. Okay, to me I think that is better. So I'm going to go with that. And I hit exit and I'm done. Okay, so the last thing I need to do now, I'm going to zoom in so I can see that. And I need to get rid of these pieces. So I'm going to go back to modify, trim, return, and I'm going to click all the way around the outside again, getting rid of the pieces I don't want. And that's going to leave me with my nice finished sprocket. Now again, while I'm doing this trimming here, I'll just remind you that it is very important that we use the same size circle. So that's why I keep copying the initial one. And if you don't use that same size circle, that's going to be trouble for tomorrow's lesson. Because in tomorrow's lesson, we're going to draw a chain that's going to connect the front and the back sprockets together, just like it does on a real bike. And all of the links in that chain are going to be the same size. So that means the holes in the sprocket need to be the same size, front and back. So hopefully you make that work, and then tomorrow's chain will fit perfectly into the drawing that we have created. Okay, so there we go. We've got our front and back sprocket looking good. And again, if you want to impress me, draw another one inside here and even a third one like you see in our sample bicycle. We have 1, 2 on the back and 1, 2, 3 on the front. Okay, so that shouldn't be too difficult. I'm going to leave these lines on here right now because they'll be useful for tomorrow's lesson when we go to draw the chain. And again, using the array tool, we will do a rectangular array tomorrow and a polar array. So we'll get to practice that a little bit more. Okay, so I hope that works out well for you. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.